Look how pretty that is. That's Paint Branch. That's a stream right by campus. And there's all kinds of mineral resources that are tied to Paint Branch. Both Paint Branch as the watershed as a source of mineral resources, and then mineral resources that are used to help restore the stream. So this is a stream restoration where the stream, you see all the stream, it wasn't like that before. It was actually like, it was confined to this straightened channel. And what they did is they actually took the channel and they reconnected it with the floodplain, like what we've been learning. Let's walk out onto the floodplain. Okay. And the reason why they did this is because look at all those buildings right there. You can see them really close to campus. And so really close to the stream, and the stream was eroding onto the property where they were building and Route 1, and they wanted to protect that infrastructure. So what they did is they took a lot of the gravel that's along Paint Branch, which originates from an old quarry, and they moved it around so that they made the stream meander, and they excavated a bunch of areas and created these floodplains where the stream could spread out and spread its water during floods. Now these rocks are not natural. You know, some of them, they brought them in and they created what are called cross veins and J-hooks. And what they do is they impound the water. They help slow down the flow of water. Where you have fast moving water, meaning slow moving water, there's a physical phenomenon called hydraulic jump. So the water skips like that, forming these little rapids along these cross veins. So the water gets backed up by, you know, taking these rocks, these mineral resources, and piling them up. And then I'm gonna walk over there. There's an oxbow feature there, oxbow feature that was artificially created. It was where the old channel was, and the old channel in this case was cutting into the hiking path that, or the walking path that you guys probably walk along. And what they did is they excavated this out, and they created this oxbow feature where when it floods, the water spills out into this oxbow feature during high flow conditions. And then there's a pipe that's underneath that berm over there that connects that oxbow feature with the main channel. And so this floodplain area that stores water isn't just the oxbow feature, it also has vegetation. You can see here, this vegetation is growing back. None of this was here a couple years ago. You start to see little trees growing. We didn't have that before. This is I mean, a couple years ago, that wasn't there. You didn't have these trees, you didn't have this vegetation. And so they're really trying hard to grow the vegetation back for a couple reasons. One is the water quality functions of the trees themselves, where they take up nutrients, and that's what you know, Kelsey's looking at with her graduate project. But the other, can you think of the other reason why they want vegetation? If you have floodwater moving across this area and you have vegetation here, right? That vegetation provides friction for the water. As it moves over the vegetation, it slows down. So it's another way, besides these rocks, you know, these rock structures, in terms of backing up the water, slowing it down. So any surface that you have different stages where you have the stream channel itself, then floodwaters migrate up the slope. They come into contact with the vegetation that's growing and the sand and the rock. That slows down the flow of water. Then it flows into the oxbow wetland or oxbow area where it stores even more water. As the flood stage or height rises, then it can go through the pipe that connects the channel that's underneath this berm, and then it goes back into the channel where it can then hit the next rocky structures and sandy gravel bars, and then further slow down the flow of water. And so this is kind of the cycle that you in stream restoration that you want to try to achieve, where you have water moving along these different stages or these different heights, where there's vegetative structures and rocks that help direct the flow of water to areas where they can be slowed down. There's vegetation, sand and gravel, and there's friction to keep slowing it down continually along the flow. Example of a groundwater well, Kelsey installed it, and this is part of the study where looking at the effects of tree removal on the effects of water quality. What Kelsey does is she looks at the chemistry of the groundwater that's beneath our feet, or beneath my feet, I guess. And she looks at the chemistry of that to look and see what effects having trees or not having trees has in the riparian zone on the water quality. And she looks at different chemical constituents like nitrogen and the different base cations and all these different chemical elements that are in the water to look at a comprehensive way to look at how the presence or absence of these trees can affect water quality holistically. And so you see here there are guards around some of these trees where trees are growing up in some of these areas. And you know, Kelsey's been monitoring these groundwater wells for 2 years. She monitored them, and hopefully in the future we'll continue hopefully monitoring them at some point because Kelsey put so much work into it. But the most important point of this is that this ecosystem is evolving. It's not just a static system, it's changing over time. And it's really cool to watch it change over time. It's a built ecosystem where they use mineral resources all along it. And like I said before, its history is tied to mineral resources, but it's evolving over time. How will this look in 5 years from now? Or how will the water quality functions have changed 5 years from now after these trees have grown up? After there have been other floods, will it remain intact or will it change? It's just, you know, studying streams is like a mystery novel. You just don't know what's going to happen in the coming years, and it's really exciting to look at all the clues and how they change with the chemistry and the water. I don't know, I love streams ever since I was about probably like, I don't know, 6 years. Isn't this pretty cool? Look at this. Are we in Ocean City? No. Are we on Assateague Island? No. We're on Paint Branch. And look at all these small sandy particles. You can see all the quartz and the silicates shining. I don't know if you can see that or not with this, but it's beautiful. But there's beautiful things all around us. You see minerals breaking down. When minerals break down, you have you know, deposits of sediment, and then the minerals weathering. Little plants grow. You can see plants starting to colonize this area. This is an example of succession. Remember, we learned that succession is where you have first early colonizing species coming in, and then they get replaced by another species that's more that can outcompete the grasses or fast-living species that come in that are the first colonizers. And then eventually you get more mature shrubs and herbaceous vegetation, and then these different types of trees as what are called climax successional species, which are kind of like the end game in terms of succession and what happens when you have a mature ecosystem that's evolved. Look at these guys. They don't have anything to do with minerals or streams, but they're pretty cute. They're just kind of sitting there, relaxing, enjoying life in the sun. I don't know. They're all looking at me. I just thought it was kind of cool and thought you guys might want to see them.